who went before me. So funny. So funny. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. So, it's almost a new decade, 2020. I'm excited about it. I think if I could summarize this past year in one anecdote, it would be something that happened to me back in October. I was actually walking to a different comedy show, and I was trying to cross U Street by way of 14th Street, and I got the signal that pedestrians could walk. And as I was walking across the street, a car was trying to turn right and had to wait for me. And when I completed the crossing of the street, this man rolled down his car window and he started pointing and yelling at me, and he said, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?" And then I turned to him, and everyone, I'm like a mild-mannered person. Like, I would say I'm even a pleasant person on most days. But I was really upset at this gentleman, so I turned to him and I said, "You don't even want to know what's wrong with me. So much is wrong with me, you don't even want to know. The half of it, sir." And everyone, he drove away. So, I think I got the best of that exchange. Probably both the worst and best thing that happened to me in 2019 was that. It was the holidays. It still is the holidays for me and others. So, hooray, holidays! Yeah! Oh, thank you. Yes, the holidays are interesting. I actually had plans this year on Christmas Eve. It's always a toss-up. I don't know if I'm going to eat Chinese food early or just sit at home and do nothing, but I had plans. So I went outside and I was walking to a friend's apartment to spend time with people, which is always rare on Christmas Eve for me, but I was doing it. And I was passing by like a church on my walk, and all these families were going into the church. Everyone was really happy, and there was this cute little child outside. Everyone come on. Everyone was stopped. There was a child. It was like a 10-year-old, and he was outside, and he was wearing this like Santa costume. And he was giving everyone candy canes, and he gave me one as I was walking by, and he's like, "Merry Christmas." And I was like, "Thanks." And he's like, "Are you coming into church?" And I was gonna say, it's like, you need to try harder, church people. Like, I'm not going in just for one candy cane. Like, you're gonna have to do something else to get me into your place of worship. I don't know what. Maybe put a puppy in there, and I'll consider it, but I'm not going in for one candy cane. I just said, no, I'm not going to the young man. He seemed a little crestfallen. I know Alex talked about this earlier, but another thing I did during this holiday, I saw Cats, the movie. Everyone, I'm going to tell you, I actually liked it, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not. I've been waiting for this movie since I was 3 years old. Like, I love Cats. I was always in school, I was like that creative friend, like, you know that friend you would have maybe as a youth when everyone would be playing real games, and your one friend, the creative one, would be like, "Let's pretend we have magical powers and play in the woods," and everyone would be like, "Okay, Stacy, sure, why not?" And then that would phase out by the time you were all 13 anyway. I was that friend. I was very creative. I liked Cats, the musical, and I went into the movie and I was like, everyone hates this movie, I'm probably gonna hate it. And then about midway through I was like, I don't hate this, I love it. I think one of my favorite parts about seeing the movie was that because I was the only one in the theater, I was able to sing aloud. I was able to sing all the songs aloud. And no one could tell me, shh. No one told me shh because I was the only one there. It was totally unlike my experience seeing Hamilton, where everyone was there and everyone was like, "Ma'am, you have to stop singing," and I was like, "I'm not gonna stop singing." It was so weird when that happened. The Kennedy Center kicked me out and they're like, "You're banned for life," but I was like, whatever. No, that didn't happen, everyone. That was funny. So yeah, it was the holidays. It was good holidays. Still going on. The holidays are interesting because this is a time of year that they really ramp up those people in the streets that try to stop you and ask you to sign a petition or like donate to a certain cause. And for me, it's like, I think if you talk to people who know me well, they'll say that Stacey Axer talks too much. And to those people who say that I talk too much, what I would like to say is you don't even want to know how far I've come. I didn't say my first word until I was 6. So this is, okay everyone, I wasn't 6, I was 4. But this is the point. The point is, I've come a long way. So when those people in the street are like, hey, do you want to take a moment to learn about the World Wildlife Foundation? I'm always like, oh, like I want to talk to them, but I can't. I have to like tone it back because they will get you. They know who to target in the street. It's like I don't know, I need to stop. But for me at least, I think I sometimes talk so much to the point where recently I've had to switch tactics with some friends because I know they tune me out. And I found a tactic that works without fail. So I'm gonna float this to you. It's really good. This is what it is. So in conversations now, I'll go up to people and I'll like listen quietly for about 3 minutes. And then at the end of those 3 minutes, I'll turn to someone in the group and I'll say this one phrase and it gets everyone really paying attention. This is it. I'll wait and I'll say, take care of me. And without fail, people will be like, what do you need? And I'm like, this is what I've been missing in my life. Someone to just be like, what do you want? And I tell them, and it's like, so everyone use this in your social circles. People want to take care of you. I think in today's day and age, I think it's extremely hard to be vulnerable around people. I think that's really hard. And I'm trying to break out of that spell. Like, I want to be vulnerable, but I think when I was a kid, I erroneously thought one good thing about being an adult was that you didn't get embarrassed as much. Like, I was like 13 or 14, and I was like, I can't wait to grow up, and then I won't be so embarrassed about the things I do, and it's like, oh no, it only gets worse. Like, when you're an adult, your embarrassment only gets worse. The embarrassing things you do only become worse. Like, you just become worse. It's so strange. Like the other day, actually, it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was walking in the street, I was leaving work, and it was raining really heavily, and I was trying to cross the street, and it was raining so much, like I slipped on a puddle, and like I totally fell in the street, and 5 people like came to my aid, and they're like, ma'am, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay, can't you see, I just fell in the street. But then I was like, but I'm not gonna let this take me down. And they're like, okay, ma'am, that's fine. But while we have you here, do you want to take a moment to talk about the World Wildlife Foundation? They were those people in the street that make you talk about the World Wildlife Foundation. So I had to listen to them at that point, but I was like, they really know how to get a person when they're down. They picked me up out of the gutter and made me talk about the animals. Anyway, so now I monthly give to the World Wildlife Foundation, but what can you do? What can you do? There are worse things to do. I'm going to end with this, everyone. You know, it's a new year in just a few days, but that being said, I'm not really good with change. Change is hard. Routines changing are hard. So, for example, the other day, this was actually a few months ago, but it still haunts me to this day, so take a look. Listen, everyone. I went home, and I knew my roommate was home because all the lights in the apartment were on. And I was like, okie dokie, everything's normal here. And then I was walking into my bedroom, but on the way to my bedroom, my roommate's room, the door was open just a little bit. So I could see inside, and I saw my roommate like laying down on the ground, like face down. And so like I stormed in the room and I was like, are you okay? And she's like, I'm doing yoga. So everyone, don't just start doing yoga all of a sudden. Like, give the people around you just a courtesy warning because I was really concerned. And don't just lay down on the ground without just putting a sign up maybe, or a courtesy text. And anything would have been appreciated. Anyway, you've been a wonderful crowd. I've been Stacey.